give you principles of Bible interpretation. Principles of Bible interpretation. When you are interpreting Bible or when you are reading scriptures, you don't just pick a single verse and go by what it says. No, scriptures ought to be read in their own context. Once you take a scripture out of its context, it will say what it never said. And remember, the Bible can never say today what it never said when it was being written. What the Bible said when it was being written, that is what it is still saying today. And there is no scripture which is independent. A scripture is always read in its context. Once you take a scripture or you preach a scripture out of its context, it means you have killed the scripture. You have made the scripture to say what it never meant or what it does not say. Now, listen to what Erick Habuwele said. He was an English ecclesiastical reformer, chiefly known as a Bible translator. He was the first translator of the Bible into English in 1535. Now, this is what he said: "It shall greatly help you to understand the scripture if thou mark not only what is spoken or written, but of whom and to whom, with what words, at what time, where, to what intent, with what circumstances, considering what goeth before and what follows after." So this Habuwele said, when you are reading scripture, for it to help you with the understanding, check this word which I'm reading, to whom was it written to? At what time was it being spoken? At what kind of the situation was it being uttered? When you have such kind of a mentality, it will help you to know what scripture are talking about, at what time it was spoken and why it was spoken. If you do not understand this background, you may see, you start practicing things that ought not to be practiced now. If you don't understand this, you start getting the Old Testament scriptures which were relevant at that particular time in this day life, of which it is not going to build to yield its own benefit. Why? Because it only had life by then when it was being spoken, because to the type of the people it was spoken to. But when you try to extract that scripture to bring it into now, you find that you're trying to injure yourself. Why? Because you are not reading the scripture in its context. So it's very important when you are interpreting Bible, look to what type of people was it referring. Why was it spoken? At what time was it spoken? Read what is before and read what is after. With that, it will help you to understand scriptures greatly. Don't just be selecting scripture, picking scripture just because a scripture is something that you love. You love the portion, you just go with it. No! Read the scripture in its context. Then you get the meaning of what the scripture says. Second